One of the things that is effectively done here, if you can do it, is to incorporate some of Locke's own philosophy. And this doesn't need to be, talking about Locke directly, but thinking about themes of Locke's work. So in political philosophy, liberalism is one that stands out, and the kind of natural rights, individual rights. Thinking about epistemology, this kind of tabula rasa, this importance of empiricism. I could go on. There's lots of strands of Locke's work that are very important. And if you can use those as a starting point, that might be something that could be useful. But it's important not to force this in. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. And looking at other essays that have had success in the past in this competition, it's worth noting that it's absolutely not essential to make use of Locke's philosophy at all if you want to have success in this competition. It is just something that's quite nice as a kind of thematic link back to the competition itself. So another thing that this essay does very well throughout is giving effective signposting to the reader. And one of the techniques that I want to pull out in specific is using a one-line summary at the end of paragraphs to just wrap up what's been said. So, for example, we get this big long argument that's been given about how we're proposing one argument for our opponent, which is that taxation is useful and would be rationally consented to because it helps us to avoid anarchy. But the counter argument to that is a big long exposition about how this proposed argument, which comes from Kant, is not being very fair in the way that it sets up the terms of the debate. And so at the end of this long discussion, we get this summary sentence, which is Kant's justification of the state compares the worst forms of anarchy with an idealized version of the state. And so this comes at the end of the paragraph, and it just helpfully sums up in one line exactly what we've just been talking about. And this is something that comes up in all parts of the essay. So this is the final sentence of the essay. So the state is returning to them something less valuable than what was taken, so tax is theft. So this sentence here, so tax is theft, the final sentence of the essay leaves the reader in no doubt about the conclusion of what they've just read. This is quite a punchy sentence, and it's something that kind of grabs the reader's attention, shakes them a bit, and gets them to kind of potentially agree with what's been said. And so this is something that's really useful. So it's wrapping up both at a kind of paragraph level, but also at an essay level. Here's what I just told you, and here's the main kind of thesis statement for both this bit and the essay as a whole. Another thing that's done effectively is defining key terms effectively along the way. So one of the things that we saw is defining key terms kind of efficiently at the start of the essay, but this is something that comes up throughout the essay as well. So we have the sentence here: public goods and services are non-excludable and non-rivalrous goods. So we got some jargon being given, but swiftly following it, we have this means that the consumption of the good by one person does not reduce its value to anyone else who seeks to use it, and no one can be prevented from using it. So one of the things that is really good about this, we have this phrase here, this means that. So as soon as we've introduced something that is potentially confusing for a reader if they're not an expert, if they don't have this kind of background concept of what a non-excludable and non-rivalrous goods are, we're immediately kind of putting that to bed and giving them something to kind of cling on to help them progress through the rest of the point that's being made. So this is something that's really good, is you can't assume any really significant knowledge for your reader, so don't leave them in suspense if you're introducing a new concept, and only do that if you feel that the concept is going to kind of earn its keep, earn its weight earn its place in the essay. But if you are going to do that, try and define it swiftly so as to not leave your reader hanging about in space.